Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Soul Citizens. I am GriffinGamingRPG, and we are back for another fun-filled week of discussion on the game we all love and love to hate, Star Citizen. And I'm here with the illustrious panel, as always. I want to give a shout-out to Gun18, or is it Gun8? Gunny8, thank you for the follow. We appreciate that. I see a lot of different guns there, so I'm not sure how that's working. And I want to thank Autumn Raven also for your follow as well. And Charlie Oscar.
That's my wife.
Is that who that is? Okay. Well, hey, there we go. Awesome. Hey, let me introduce our panel for today and actually make a little announcement here. We have a new member to the Soul Citizens team. And this is his first show being with us. He was supposed to be on next week, but he ended up coming in this week, or next month, I should say. And that's Abdi. What's the last part?
You got AbdiYohan.
AbdiYohan. I'm gonna make sure y'all get that right. And he is joining us as one of our newest members to the Soul Citizen team. So y'all give a shout out to him. And Abdi, thank you for being here, man. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
All righty,
whatever your name is, you're not gonna catch me calling Toby. That's for sure.
My name ain't Toby. And next to him, we have the man with the voice, the man himself, the man who inspires a lot of us in Star Citizen with his take on Star Citizen, with the incredible videos he puts out. Another one of our members of our team, the man himself, Dig That 32. What's up, Dig?
What's going on, good folks? Is Dig That, aka Mr. Turn Down Service, aka your girlfriend's boyfriend. Glad to be here.
And the man with the jokes too. I forgot to throw that in as well.
I couldn't find it out, but I'm gonna be good.
I know. So the man next to him, who wants to be the man with the jokes, is my co-producer, and that's the man himself, as you guys know, the legendary man himself, Fast Cart FC. What's up, FC?
Comedic legend FC.
Comedic legend.
How about y'all?
Somebody gave you that, but you still got to earn that in my book. I'm not there yet. I'll just go with legend. I can just go with the legend part. But no, it is good to have everybody here today. Hey, we are continuing our series that we began several months ago called Industrial Strength, talking about the really big monster industrial ships that are in Star Citizen. And today we're covering one of the ones that's one of the oldest ones in the game, and that's the Reclaimer. And each one of the panelists here is here for a different reason. And I kind of have them on here. I'm glad Abdi shared with us before we got started where he is in relation to the ship. So we're going to kind of get a little feedback. I know I got Dig on here because Dig is about making that paper. And so I want to get a lot of thoughts from him in the sense of where he thinks things like salvage and how will people be able to make their UEC in the universe. And then FC and I have been in the game. We've been around since the time this ship was introduced into the game concept. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the ship and kind of describe some stuff. So there's a lot of stuff we're going to cover today in relation to this show. Let me jump to Abdi, I'm going to go to you first. Okay. First question on our docket is Sanford and Sons. Okay. All right. Sanford and Sons, right? The Reclaimer is, you talked about this. You have an interest in, who's that? Hermes Conrad. Hermes Conrad, thank you for the follow. Thank you.
Thanks for the follow.
We appreciate that. There's Whammer. Yeah, Whammer's back every time. You talked about the fact that you don't own a Reclaimer, but you do own a Vulture, and you're interested in seeing where Salvage goes in this game. So what is it about Salvage that interests you in particular?
I like the idea that it's kind of like, I was thinking about this while driving today. Kind of reminded me of my mother-in-law. She goes garage sailing, and if you think about it, salvaging is kind of like garage sailing, where you go out there, you don't know what you're gonna find, but you spend something. You spend a little bit. In this case, you're spending resources to get out and take your ship out and fly around. You're spending the quantum fuel, the hydrogen fuel to go look for something. You don't know if you're gonna find something, but then when you do find something that's worth it, and you take it back, you might have found a little bit of gold out there. And I think that's like that same, when you get to find that little like like this is the one. Yeah. Like that's what it's all about. It's about like finding that piece that's like a good bit of salvage that gets you that money, and the loop keeps going on and on, kind of like mining in that way.
Okay. Dig, I'm gonna hit you. You mentioned that word money and loot. Talk to me. As far as, well, first of all, do you own a reclaimer? And if not, I know you've got people in your org, in your group that probably have them. Have you all talked about what the reclaimer will mean for you all?
No, we haven't filled that part of our organization where we have somebody that's in charge of salvage, since it doesn't exist yet. As far as owning it, I always buy it with in-game credits. It's, what is it, 350, or it started at 350. It's $400 now. So yeah, low out of my budget for something I can't quite use yet.
Okay, fair enough. FC, what about you? Do you own a reclaimer?
I don't own a reclaimer. I had a vulture, but I melted it because I'm probably going to get one in game. But I am into very much so in salvage. Like I used to salvage all my wrecks in EVE Online after I do like a level 3 or level 4 mission, and so in EVE Online I can take it like 30 minutes to an hour. So yeah, I'm big into salvage and recycling. You know, environment friendly.
Yeah.
Going green.
Yeah, really going green. Well, like you, out in EVE, that was my introduction to doing salvage. I used to love, it was dangerous, but I used to love doing it. And I it's kind of carried over into Star Citizen. When I found that there was a salvage ship in this game, I was like, bring it on. You know, I was really excited about it. Well, the dangers are vulnerability. I mean, think about how EVE is, right? I mean, you're one person in your one ship, unlike the Reclaimer where you've got a crew. It's just you. It's a big ship. When you're in the salvaging process, you got to keep your eyes open because there are people out there who obviously, you know, what you would do in EVE is you would sit on the outskirts of like a battle. You basically would sit out on the edge.
Vulture.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you did.
Exactly.
And you had to stay sharp, you know, and most of the time people were so engaged in combat, you didn't have to worry about anybody really attacking you. But then as you started going into deeper where the combat area was, then you started, you know, you're more vulnerable the deeper you go in to get the salvage. And so, you know, the defensive capability was so, you know, if anything, you probably had to just break and run if somebody really came after you. But it wasn't just, you know, you're sitting out there with a cigarette and you just salvaging and nothing's going on. You really had to stay on your toes when you went out in EVE, just like anything else in EVE for that matter. I'm going to show you guys a quick video, and I want to get, what were your impressions when you guys saw this video? And this was the Reclaimer on a planet. It's a very brief video. So I want to hit my gang here on the panel. I'll start with you first this time, Fastcart. Let me go to Dig that first. Dig, when you see that video, what probably impressed you the most about it? Because that was shown when 3.0 came out.
Not gonna lie, I missed the first part of it because I had to log into Twitch from a different computer.
Okay.
But what I saw, it was dialing in, and then it shows a dude doing something in the box and the Reclaimer. So really all I got to see was the scale, and the scale has always been what's been super impressive about that ship. It's just a monster. I know other ships are longer, but that thing is just so beefy. It looks like you remember Starship Troopers, those bugs that were shooting the things at Earth. That's what it reminds me of.
Very cool. Very cool. Vengeful, thank you.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
Appreciate that. Thank you. FC, what about, and by the way, Dig, that what you hit on was the focus of that video. So don't worry, you missed the beginning part. That was cool. It's just kind of a zoom in to give you an idea of what the scale of that ship was. You hit it right on the head. FC, what about you? When you first saw that video, what was your thoughts about it?
When I first saw it, like in 2017, my first thought was it was a sequel to People to Planet, because it had that long zoom, and People to Planet you zoomed out, but in this one you zoomed in, and yes, it was giving scale to the Reclaimer. My second thought is that ship looked intimidating for a industrial ship. It's probably the most intimidating looking ship in the game, in my opinion.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Abdi, how about you?
I mean, I scale, which is what Big Dad said. I mean, the idea of just like, and what Fast Cart was saying too, the fact that you go from this wide angle shot that's so far away, and then you see the scale in comparison to a little person there. It's a big boy, which is cool. And of course, everyone's favorite comparison to the Nostromo, where it's like the future is populated with these large industrial ships that look menacing, but really they're just company ships. And I'm curious to see if that's the way that it'll go in Star Citizen as well. If it'll just be like the org ship that goes and it collects and brings in that consistent money if possible. Yeah,
definitely. King David, thank you so much for that follow. Whammer says thank you.
Thanks for the follow.
Appreciate that.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Even though it's an Aegis ship, it doesn't feel Aegis to me for some reason. It feels like if CIG were to say this is a totally different manufacturer, I would believe it.
Okay. Yeah, because
what do you think it most aligns to? I'm curious. I mean, because like I don't disagree with you. It kind of feels it feels less rickety than a Drake.
Yeah,
but it feels I don't know. I can see.
The design language of it doesn't feel like Aegis that I know that we have other Aegis ships in the game right now. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, it is. I think it might be because it is a departure when you think of mostly everything Aegis is military in some form. When I sit in the cockpit, I feel it. And maybe that's because of the computer voice and everything else and the layout of the instrumentation and the UI. But you're right. It's definitely a far throw different from anything else that, Aegis has probably produced.
Could that just be because some of the ships that would kind of go along with the Reclaimer are not out yet? Like the Vulcan is Aegis, right?
The Vulture.
Yeah. No, the Vulcan.
No, the Vulcan.
No, he means the Vulcan.
The Vulcan.
The Vulcan kind of has that same kind of cockpit with the what do you call it? The frame out and everything else. It does kind of have a reminiscence to it.
Fly away. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Aegis, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I mean, like it feels as if
is that Aegis or Drake?
I know that's Aegis.
Aegis, yeah, Aegis. Yeah, that's right. It is. Yeah.
So it feels like maybe its brothers are not on the scene yet, and that's something I'd like to talk about too at some point. Matt, we'll probably get to it, but like. This ship is in game already, but where's the gameplay?
Yeah, well, it's coming, and you're right. We are going to talk about that. In fact, that's the next part I want to talk about is this part about Salvage, because Salvage has been on and off the roadmap a few times, and I think one of the things I want to ask is, what do you think? Do you think that we are now closer to having Salvage come in because we're seeing personal inventory come in? A lot of this was tied into being able to track things, personal items, but there's also those items that are floating out in space that had to be tracked. And until we had some type of system to do that, Salvage was kind of like just kept getting pushed back. And so you guys think that we'll start seeing it now? Like you said, the Reclaimer's been in the game for a long, long time. I think a lot of people like it, but like you said, the gameplay's just not there for it. I had a friend who used to use this sucker to run cargo, just because he thought it was just a challenge to do,
He's right.
Yeah, it is, right? It is a challenge to do. Fast Cart, let me ask you, Salvage, you think it's coming anytime soon, especially now that, as Abdi said, the Vulture is now in the pipeline? Do you think we're going to start seeing something with it?
I have two feelings about that. I would like it to come in soon, but I don't think it's going to come soon. I think it's going to be one of the last features, maybe one of the last features to
Really?
to come online. That's just my feeling. Because I mean, they don't really need it for. I don't believe they need it for Squadron 42, and that's the driver for a lot of these features and mechanics. So
Oh,
if
you
they
don't?
have
You don't think so?
some
Huh?
gameplay for Squadron 42 that involves salvage, sure. But other than that, I think it's going to be a while.
You raise a good point with that, though, because I mean, with that revised pillars discussion that I can never remember the guy's name that he had, where he was talking about, now we're going to make sure that these features are, correct in Squadron 42 before I bring him on over. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where salvage fits into that.
Okay.
Richard Tyre, that's the one.
Yep. Dig, what about you? What do you think? You think salvage is coming down the pipe, or is it a long way off, or what?
No, I do, because they're supposed to wrap up all the back end tasks in Q1 next year. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe summer next year we might have some salvage. Mm-hmm. Okay. And don't nobody be disagreeing with me, because you can put some bad juju on salvage if you are.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good thing. I think personally it's coming. I agree. I think I looked at the timeline for the Vulture, which is supposed to be before summer of next year. So I figure it would be bad for CIG to put out another ship with that mechanic that doesn't work. That I think there will be a lot of moaning and what do they call it, gnashing of teeth if they did something like that. So I think that they will. And
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, wailing and gnashing of teeth, whatever. Okay,
on the
biblical proportions. Okay, I think that's what's going to happen if they do that. Listen, in that very first trailer, the CIG trailer that they put out for the Reclaimer, you may not have noticed it, but in the right-hand corner, they described each area that gentleman was walking through as he's walking through the ship. So we've kind of broken down those areas because they only last for a few seconds, but I went and did some video of the ship so that you guys could see it. And let's talk about these different areas and what your thoughts are about design, practicality, what could be done there. Some of this will be some theory crafting because we don't completely know everything that will be involved in salvage, but we do want to we've got some hints and we can kind of build on that. So let's look at the very first area on the ship, and that is the bridge area of the ship. This area has 4 stations in the very front part. There's a pilot on the left. There is what some people think is a co-pilot, but actually it says that that's the claw operator that sits to the right of the pilot. And then there are 2 positions that are behind the pilot and the claw operator. Those are the other 2 seats that you see about mid-deck. Anybody got any ideas of what they think those positions may be? And now this is some things I will talk about with the Reclaimer that is similar to the Orion. One of the things about the Orion, even though the ship has a laser in the front and it can break up stuff, there's actually an operator that actually pulls in using a tractor beam the area that's broken up, the rocks that are broken up into the ship. Do you think that maybe one of those positions is someone who does something very similar? The claw holds something, but you've got laser operators, and we'll look at some other videos later that show how salvage is made or how ships are broken up. The claw really is just there to hold something. I know a lot of people have thought about the claw in the sense of, is that like crushing? I don't know if it is or not, but the impression that I get is that it's to hold whatever's in space stable while they're using lasers on it to chop it up. And then maybe there's an operator that reels it in. Anybody got any thoughts about any of those positions, in fact, you can talk about, or the importance of any of those positions?
I completely forgot that this has drones. So the drone operating probably one of those positions.
Could be one of those.
Tractor beam is also likely. I'm stealing the answer from Black Sky Legion. But yeah, I drone. That I don't know when that's going to come in the game either. But yeah, there's probably a station for drones.
Mm-hmm. Elvira mentions about the turrets on the ship too, which is another factor. There are turrets on the ship. By this way, we're going to talk about it when we get to the defenses area. This ship is not going to be something that you're just going to roll up on and try and take on. Trust me, a lot of people think, oh, we're going to take over the Reclaimer. You're going to end up getting hurt, I think, trying to take on somebody who has a Reclaimer. If it's fully crewed, I think you might end up changing your mind halfway through the fight. But that's my 2 cents. Dig or Abdi, either you guys have any thoughts about that? And excuse me 1 second, I've got a phone call I got to take. Either one of you guys.
No, I got it. I can.
What?
Apparently, someone's saying that there's no more stream sound.
I'm sorry, guys. That
Oh.
was because I hit the wrong channel by accident. Sorry, gang. I was trying to mute my mic and I muted everybody's mic. My apologies.
Okay.
Censorship.
Yeah, censorship.
Go ahead, Abdi.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But no,
Abdi.
basically, just like I wonder if it's going to be something like mining, where there'll be maybe 2 modes or something like that, and one mode will be the claw to hold it, and another mode will be like a laser or something, or maybe kind of similar to in mining where you have the extraction kind of what is it? It's like a
Thanks for
what
the
is it called when it
subscription.
like it's a beam that like just kind of tractor beam. Kind of like a tractor beam where it's like maybe you'll have a mode where the claw is holding it and a tractor beam is extracting the metals that you want or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't. There could be 2 modes to it. I feel like if they approach this ship now, they probably approach it differently. But
Yeah.
I'm curious if this is going to be a one-off ship where you won't see many other ships that have a claw like this, because the Vulture doesn't seem to need a claw.
Mm-hmm.
It came out in 2015 or 20. What year it came out? 2015.
I can't remember.
Which ship? The Reclaimer?
The Reclaimer.
I think it was 15.
Yeah, so it's been 6 years. So yeah, if they definitely took another crack at it, it would definitely be different now than what
Yeah,
it was.
because the
back then.
concept was out for a bit before they finally put it out accessible. Because it was one of the early ships as far as concept went.
So I had heard, and I don't know, I don't remember where I got this from, where I got it from, but I was under the impression that the claw detached from the ship and then could go crunch stuff up and get it ready. Like I imagine the drones go in first, scan everything, see if he needs to go in and manually take out some stuff before you start applying the claw. But I heard it was detachable.
The schematics for it show that it extends. I don't know about it being detachable. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying the only thing I've seen is that it extends out. Detachable would be interesting. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, then it would be like a drone.
Yeah, we have to look it up and see.
Yes.
Yeah, look it up and see. I hadn't heard that one, but who knows? Because we don't know what the heck it is right now. We just know that there is an operator for it. That's it. You know.
But if it would crunch things, then wouldn't it kind of be like a 2-tier crunching? Because like it has like the little room in there with that room or something that you can see into right there where it's got the
there's this works.
Yeah.
And when we get inside later, because I actually got some footage of the interior of that, you actually see that there's a conveyor belt that brings the salvage back into that area and then drops it down. And it's very similar to how the Orion works. The Orion has the same thing. Someone breaks the rocks up, but there's another person who determines which pieces they want brought inside the ship, and then it's brought in to the area where it's refined. We'll take a look at it because there's a lot of different sections to the ship. Okay, let's jump out of the bridge deck and go to the area that they call the processing room. This is the area where everything does happen when materials get into this part of the ship. This is a big ship. I don't know if any, and I'm sorry I don't have it up. If any one of you guys can bring up the Reclaimers page on the site. I want to say that the crew for this is 6, 5 or 6. I can't remember which one it is.
It's 5.
Is it 5? Okay.
I thought I saw that, but I could be wrong. Let me double check.
Yeah, and I usually have it up, and I didn't, like a knucklehead. But this is a really big room. For those of you who've never been on a Reclaimer before, the Reclaimer is a really, really big ship. I think it's 4 or 5 decks in height.
Minimum 4, max 5.
Max 5. Okay, max 5. It is a really, really big ship. And this area here, and one of the things I don't think that they ever got completely right are what the full numbers are for what it can carry in the sense of salvage. I think there's a cargo number, but I don't think there's a salvage number on the page, and that's probably because salvage had not been fleshed out yet.
Yeah, so it's 180 SCU.
Of cargo.
So what does that mean in salvage though?
Oh, in salvage? It says 180
No,
SCU.
cargo,
Yeah, it's 180 SCU of cargo space.
Cargo, you're right, cargo. Because there's a cargo room, right? There's a cargo room, but they haven't given us with this big room how much it can hold, the processing room. And this is like it's actually a weird double level when you go into the processing room. There's a lot of winches in this area, chains, a whole lot of stuff. Whether that stuff is just there for decorative purposes or whether it's something that's going to be practically used for moving things around, that's another question. But it is a very big
You need to fight a xenomorth, you're gonna need chains. Just
right. Don't start that, man.
Hey,
that's the quickest way to get dig off the ship, boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's the processing room, and some other videos we're going to look at in a little bit here. Other than the processing room, the next area we have is what they call the tech deck. This is the area when you come out of the flight deck and you get on the elevator, it brings you up to this level. On this level is where you'll see the doors to the drone room. It's where you get to the access to the turret. It's the area where I think it's that ball for the gravity well. I think you access that there, and most of the other parts of the ship. There's a manual ladder, as you can see for the tech deck picture there, that goes down to the flight deck that you can take as well if you don't want to take the elevator. I actually wish that was something that all ships had, where even if you have an elevator on them, that they always have a ladder on them, because the question always comes up, if someone ever EMPs you, how will you still be able to move around on the ship? And so there are some ships that we have in game who, like a 600, for example, is all elevators, and you can't get around if you get EMP'd in that ship. Someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Abdi, you talked about the fact that there's kind of the alien feel to this ship. There are some influences, and we're going to see a video in a little bit that kind of talks about that. But how do you feel about the layout here when you walk through this ship? You've walked through the ship before, right? You've been through the Reclaimer. Oh, you're muted. Is he muted?
You're muted.
Yeah, he must be muted.
We lost your audio.
You're muted.
Yeah.
We don't hear you.
My bad. I muted myself. So I haven't actually walked through it myself. Just tour like the guides that you have on YouTube. Not you, but
Oh, you've never walked through it?
No, I've never actually walked through it.
You gotta do
I
it.
myself own this ship, and the largest ships that I've been through, I've only been through because of my org and org events that we've done.
Oh, my brother! After this show, you got to come on. You got to come on the ship after this show, brother. Your job's gonna hit the ground.
I gotta make it happen.
Okay.
But I've watched videos of going, like, people going through the ship,
right?
And it does have like an immense scale to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Dig, what about you? You've been on it, so tell us, Dig, what do you think about the ship when you walk through it?
Man, it's like when you first get on it, that elevator in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like looking at a building. You're like looking at this city building, and you get up in it, and it's not like sexy in the classical sense, but it's so dope because it just looks so real. You can see purpose behind it, and it just make you feel like, okay, we about to do some work, right? We about to do some work right now, Playboy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you gotta love the mess hall that looks just like aliens.
Oh yeah.
You ain't got a picture of that?
Oh yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we got the whole. That's okay. We got every part of the ship broken down, so we can talk about them. FC, what about you?
I think what's up during the IEU on Victor's Week, they had to reclaim on the show floor, and I went inside, and it was like, yeah, I'm getting lost in here. Let me get so I spent some time in there, but I didn't get the full effect. Right? Yeah, it's too much tip for me. Like, I need something smaller.
Yeah.
Unless I get a crew or something together.
Okay. Now, Abdi, you said that you got the Vulture, you didn't get this one. Are you more seeing yourself when you're doing salvage more like that one man kind of operation versus like the bigger you know, this is almost cap ship. I mean, I'm gonna say cap ship, but it's the granddaddy for it. Do you see yourself kind of operating more as the, you know, one man operation for Salvage, or do you want to eventually move toward having this? Are you satisfied with just working on somebody else's ship?
Well, I'm satisfied with working on someone else's ship. I feel like this is the kind of ship where it works best in an org sense, and I just the largest ship that I own is a Carrack.
Thanks for the
You know,
follow.
and it's a big ship. Carrack is a big ship, but that's intentionally for when I'm taking my friends out in the verse when the game is feature complete.
Okay.
Like, I feel like having multiple ships that are that big, I can't justify the expense. But if it's owned by an org, then it's something that your org can use to do events and stuff like that. And to me, that sounds like the type of gameplay I want. I really hate to take this thing out by myself. It just feels, it would feel empty, like having a mansion and living in it by yourself.
Yeah.
Abdi, you just be a baller. Get all the big shit for yourself.
Get all the
Don't
big
worry
shit.
about what other people think.
I value my marriage too much.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, the next section we're going to look at is habitation. This is the crew's quarters. There are 4 beds in there. Then you have the 5th one for the captain and the captain's quarters. It's fully set up with a bathroom, showers, the whole 9 yards. Dig, let me hit you on this one. Is there a certain feel they're going for when you look at these shots here? Because it's not like this ship is like lit up very well and bright and, you know, happy. You know,
Right.
do you think they're kind of going for, I know it's industrial, don't get me wrong, it's not an 890, but do you think that they are deliberate in this field?
Well, with these shots, yeah, I've never. Is that powered off? Is that what that is?
No, actually, that's I shot this footage in the broken moon thing, so that red is probably casting from the broken moon.
Okay.
Oh, I see it
I'm
come through
sorry,
the
I didn't want to make the
windows.
blood red thing a thing, but that's probably what it is. It's because I was in the broken moon area shooting the footage. Yeah.
See,
yeah.
this is more what I remember is how these showers look. It's
Right.
like that dim sodium vapor yellowish light. Yeah, they definitely going for a feel. They know what they're doing. This is straight aliens vibage right here, man.
Okay. FC, how practical is this in the sense of there's a lot on this ship, right? And I mean, its main focus is salvage, but when you sit in the crew's quarters here, you've got all these monitors and things in here. Do you think that CIG this will go beyond being placeholders, that there'll actually be some use for that, like broadcast? What do you think that, you know, is this just all just costuming it, or is this stuff that will be functional in the game later on?
I believe it'll be functioning in the game later on, but my problem is the lighting. They need to put some lights up in that joint, because I mean, it's been proven that the more well lit something is, the more productive you'll be. So all this darkness is like, no, it's like I'm not going to get any work done. I'm going to fall asleep. No, I'm okay. I do think that it should be like this is fine right here when the lights are on, except for that fog and the fog and everything like that.
That's from the showers. That's the hot water. That's the hot water in the showers going on from shaving and everything.
Hot water. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, but
Made a steamer.
to answer your question, I think that that'll be useful at some point. Hopefully.
Okay.
I hope they are too, man. Because I think, or I hope that broadcasting to people's ship is going to be a thing.
Okay. Is this a deep space ship? In other words, is this one of those ships that you go on and once you get on it, you and your crew, you pretty much decide that you're going to be gone for a while? It's not going to be coming back to a station. You know, you're out there for a bit. What do you all think? Or do you think this is the ship that people will take out for a couple hours and come in? What do you think? Anybody?
I think it's a deep space ship. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it depends on how much and how fast you can accumulate cargo. I mean, accumulate salvage. Because if it's just something that you can knock out with, say you run into a, what's that ship with the gas tank?
Oh, like the Starfarer?
Yeah, if you run into a Starfarer and that fills up your ship and you can just come back and sail, then there's no reason to stay out. So I think that's a huge question mark right now.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like if they're going for the whole Nostromo vibe, they might as well take it the full thing and just be like, this ship is just out there. all the time, picking up as much as it can, and then it comes back once it's full. Like that's its charter or something. I
You
could see that being-
don't even need to come back because you can have like another ship meet it with cargo and just
Yeah.
keep going.
That's true. Didn't think of that.
And that's one of the things I
Yeah.
want to talk to you guys about as we're looking at the ship is the transference, because that's one of the things I have not been able to figure out with the ship. I went through it today using external cameras and all types of stuff to say, how do you get this stuff off of here? How does it get unloaded? And I've yet to figure it out yet completely. I know how people get on and off, but how does the salvage get on and off?
That means a rework.
Well, there may be doors that I haven't detected. You know what I mean? They may be underneath the ship, but to your point, someone just said, FC said, you could be out in space and someone else can come to pick up once you've got the stuff all broken down. They can take it and you can continue working. But even so, when you dock, the question becomes, how do you get the salvage off the ship? And I have yet to see where or how that's done yet.
You know what?
It could be the tracking beam.
If you look in the chat, the Carl Hygiene, what's up, Carl? That may be one more point for the argument that the cutter is detachable, because he's saying the same place that you unload the cutter parasite craft.
Okay.
So if that is detachable, you got to detach that to offload your salvage, then there it is.
It does. I mean, it does have a ramp, right? Like on the back.
There's a elevator in the back, and the elevator does access all the floors. It's just the way the ship is designed. If you're packing that stuff with, I'm assuming that in some way or other your stuff's going to get crated. That it's going to go into crates in some way. And my question is, how do you get it off?
That room that we were just in, the processing room, that's where that is where you would find the salvage that it would get boxed, basically, I think is what he was referring to. Maybe I don't want to misspeak for you, Gladstone, but like my thought is that it would go through that big room with the little conveyor belt and all that, crunch up, then magically turn into boxes or something like that. Then you take it and put it on the cargo elevator and bring it out.
When we get down a little bit more, one of the other rooms we're going to look at is the salvage room, because that room is processing. So maybe when we see the salvage room, there's something that we'll eyeball there that kind of gives us a clue or a hint to where it is. Let's go to one of the brighter rooms, as Fast Cart just asked for it, and that's the captain's quarters. It's only 50% brighter, okay? But it is brighter. Captain's quarters here is kind of sparse. What are some things that can happen in captain's quarters, guys? Anything in particular? I mean, is this about role play in order for these rooms to have some use, or will there be something that's special about going in this room? It seems like everybody has the captain's quarters, has a screen on the desk. I remember there was one video that CIG did where there was a mission where somebody had to go into a starfare, go to the captain's quarters, and they pulled what was the equivalent of the black box from there. There was a reason. They didn't go to the cockpit to do it. They went to the captain's quarters and got that information from there. So do you think that they will incorporate some things that maybe make these rooms, of use and importance in the game? Like, you have to go to this particular room to do something, or is it just a room where, if the captain wants to talk to some of his crew members privately, they come down there and talk? Let's go with Dig first, then Abdi, and then Fast Cart.
Man, we got Discord, so the privacy thing is a different beast. Hopefully there's something that the captain can do with that screen to where he's busy working there. He has a pilot flying and the crew doing their own thing. Because if not, then it just seems like a showpiece.
Wow. TV Liquid, thank you so much for that raid. We appreciate that. 81 TV Liquid fans are joining us. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. And
how the trims and blims doing, TV?
Thank you all for joining us. We are talking about the Reclaimer today and having some conversations on our series Industrial Strength. So welcome, and we're happy to have you hang out with us. All right, TV, thank you again so much for that raid. We really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dig.
No, I didn't have anything. I was just saying another things.
Okay, no.
Shout out to you, Liquid TV.
Let me ask you something though. You were talking about the fact that we've got Discord, but there are a lot of us. I've played with people where I use Discord. Then I've had people where we do all ship comms. We don't even use Discord. Now, mind you, for people who may be more on the role playing side, because when you do use the ship comms, you've got proximity, so some other things that can take place with having conversations in ship.
True.
But I do like your idea about, maybe there's some reasons why you would have to come down there and literally be in the captain's quarters while your crew is doing something else. Maybe that's mission information or something else that you can only get when you're sitting at that desk. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't come through your Moby glass, but literally it transmits to you from that desk. Maybe that's a possibility.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about the role play aspect because CIG went a long way with making the proximity chat sound really cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you got to think about, like, I don't know if you guys have been in, like, done it. I'm sure you have, like, been in one area of the ship and you can still hear people, but faintly.
Yeah. Yep. The proximity thing.
Like, if you got something quiet to say to somebody while they're in there with you, and somebody else is standing outside the door. somebody got a little cup with a glass to the door. They gonna hear you.
Yeah. So when there's mutiny going down, man? Let's do
really.
It.
Man, I think the captain must be crazy. What? What'd you say? Yeah, right.
Like, we got to fuel. We're gonna have to blow up the ship. Don't tell nobody.
Okay. Abdi, what about you? Any practical ideas about these captain's quarters? They got their own bed, they got their own shower, they got their desk where they can work, they got a computer. And is it just all costume, or is it practicality to it?
It would be nice. I could definitely see, like, those intense role players, meeting up. They log out in the beds, they log back in, and then they all meet up at a specific time in the captain's quarters to go over the brief for the day or something like that. But what would be super cool to me to kind of encourage that is not every ship needs to be a data runner, but if they put like a little bit of like some aspect of data that you could collect, kind of what you're talking about, the reason for having a black box, that maybe there's some information that was stored that's in there, and the captain is tracking, this is where I did a haul, I put my little pin on this aspect, on this part of space, and then I go over here, put my pin on this part of space, this is where we picked up some good stuff. We might not be able to come back here, or we have to come back here later or something, so that if your ship does get destroyed or whatever, there's a reason for like someone to come in and take that data and be like, there's actually something valuable here. These are the places they hit up, and we might want to hit up those places too.
Very
Thanks
cool.
for the follow.
Captain Carrot, Bear Owl, Loki the Wise, and CD 1969. Thank all of you for the follows. Whammer says thank you. We appreciate you all following us. FC, what about you? Any thoughts about the captain's quarters?
I think the quarters is just for the captain to like get away from all the craziness, because the crew sometimes will drive you crazy, especially if you use the in-game voice chat. So you're just going to want some privacy, or you really want to role play. There's always going to be that one guy who don't shower. You want to get away from
You stink.
So but seriously, I think it's more for role play. It's a great role play room, and it's so that room almost looked like one of the biggest rooms on the ship. So that's a lot. So it's good to be captain. Okay. In this case.
Okay. Now, Fastcart brought up something that I'm going to ask you guys, and this ship is one of those ships that has. Well, yes, absolutely. That's what I'm going to talk about. This ship has all of the amenities for role play in it, right? Because we're going to, Dig that mentioned earlier about the kitchen area. We're going to come to that in a little bit. There have been strong discussions about whether Star Citizen is a role-playing game or not, right? Some people say, no, when I come to this game, I'm not role-playing. I'm just doing the thing that I want to do. There are other people who literally get into character, and their whole thing is they're role-playing this career that they're living through.
It's weird when those things mix.
Yeah, and I guess my question is CIG forcing people into some aspects of role play? And what I mean is, let's use the bathroom shower scenario. Okay, right now beds have a practical aspect of that's where we log in and log out, right? It's not about going to sleep. It's about logging in and logging out. But there is a mechanic that's going to come that and we already had a little bit of pushback when food got introduced. If you remember, there were some people who thought food was going to, Star Citizen is going to become a survival game, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
There's a lot to think about that, right?
Doom of the game.
Right, but then, and I mentioned this a few weeks ago, when the C2 and M2 came out, some people who bought the M2 got mad because they said, hey, there ain't no kitchen on the M2. Now, before people were barking about it, then they said, wait, we want a kitchen. So now, mind you, eating, again, we kind of understand the dynamic of eating, sustenance, keeping yourself going. But what about when we start getting to this thing of the shower and pooping? Okay, are players going to say, okay, whoa, CIG, this is becoming too much. It's cute that the bathroom is there, the shower is there, but they've told us that there's going to be a dynamic in the game that people's interactions with you, NPC interactions with you, may be affected if you haven't taken a shower. If you've gone too long without taking a shower, you go talk to somebody at a bar to get some information. The guy might, wave you off like that and say, "No, man, you come back later."
Try to walk into the chairman's club with the
hey, how about you want to go to the Million High Club, and that bouncer say, "No, man, you ain't coming in here no matter what." Okay, right. Dig knows about the Million Mile High Club. All right, so here's the deal. My point is it introducing those things? Does CIG have to make sure that they introduce them in a way so that in a way it's immersive, but not so immersive that people are turned off by realizing, oh, here's something else I got to do. Because this stuff is in the game. We always say this: when CIG puts something in the game, you see a lot of emphasis. It's not there for decoration. It's because they actually want to incorporate it into gameplay. So, what do you guys think? Anybody want to jump in on that as far as the whole hygiene dynamic of the game?
I love it because I think to me it's living the life of a person in this time. Mm-hmm. And some people may think it's a little too much, but you know what? That's how they're gonna hook you anyway. You hooked on combat or piracy or whatever it is you want to do, dude. It's gonna take you a couple minutes. Go hit the head real quick, take a shower, change your clothes. You stink. You ready to roll again. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Just like when you was talking about how there was some pushback about having to eat. Mm-hmm. It's not that big of a deal. Like, because one of my buddies in my Discord, he wasn't like going off about it, but he wasn't happy about it. And then after it came out, he's like, "Oh,
it's not so bad."
That's it. Okay, mm-hmm. Yeah, not so bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's like when it first came out, I didn't think it was gonna be Armageddon. I was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be a pain." But the way they timed it out, like it's not every 5 minutes or whatever. It's like maybe a couple of hours you have to drink or eat or something like that. So that's fine. And so as long as you keep the time constraint, reasonable, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Abdi, let me ask you a question. How often should you have to shower? What's the time frame that feels good for you?
I think it should depend on what you're doing.
Twice a month.
If you're
Twice a month.
If you're just like, if you're in your ship and you've been sitting in a chair for a long time, you bust out like a torpedo burrito or whatever, and you're just sitting there. I feel like that's different than like, you're working at a desk somewhere where it's, I don't know. There's different times and different things. So I feel like it'll kind of be like, I don't know if eating is like this right now, where like if you're running more often, your metabolism, will make it so that you need to eat, more often.
Ooh, you're giving CIG some ideas. Ooh.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they had it already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is a plan that they would probably want to implement, and that they would do something very similar with showering too. Like if you're raiding 1 million bunkers, you've been running around, you've been holding down the shift key, your sweat's going to go up. Your stank factor. What was it? Someone called the funk factor. Your funk factor is too high.
Yeah.
There's going to be a meter for that on your screen, right? Going up and down.
No, that's an interesting prospect that, there are all these varieties of foods in the game, right? And if you try to equate it to real life, the cheaper the food, the more response you might have to it physically, right? If you eat that burrito, if you out there shooting and running, maybe there's something that lets you know, dude, you got to go to the can. I don't know. You
picked up a torpedo burrito off a roller is different than you sat down at Elroy's and had a nice salad.
Right. And we could ask Whammer. What does Chris Roberts call it, Whammer? What does he call it?
Immersion.
Okay, that's it. All right.
Wait, he calls it what? I missed it.
I calls it immersion. That's what it is.
Oh, immersion.
All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next area. Now, this area, I didn't know what this area was. I had to actually go back in the video and look at it again, but they called this the welcome area. Now, it's funny. I don't know too many other ships in the game that have a welcome area, but this is like the scariest welcome area there is. This is up on that top area behind the
unwelcome area, more like it.
Yeah. You guys know where those two side airlocks are toward the back of the ship? That's this area. And so the assumption...
Like where you first get out the elevator? Or?
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's the elevator door right there, the big door. But you know how when you come out on that level, there are two airlocks to the left and right. They're the same type of airlocks that's on like the 890. Similar airlocks, I should say. And so they call that the welcome area on the ship. There are two ladders in that area that go down. Those are the ones that lead down into engineering. But that's like toward the back of the ship. You're right, Dig. It's like the elevator is right there in that part of the ship. But it's called the welcome area of the ship. It looks kind of scary to me. Maybe it's one of those deals like, welcome to this ship. You're going to be on here the next 5 months. You know, I don't know. But it's a rather...
Again, with the Alien reference, it reminds me of Alien Resurrection, everyone's favorite Alien movie.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone hates that movie.
Oh, my God.
So, like, they invite some people on to help.
Yeah.
And when they invite those people on that, dock to the ship or whatever, they meet them all at that one, area, the waiting room, I guess, the welcome room or whatever.
Yep.
This kind of reminds me of that.
Yep.
Yeah, the dripping, my man Jules called it in the chat. It does look like the xenomorph drool dripping off the ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that's the welcome area, and it is actually where you would come into the ships. I get that's why they call it. I just never saw them name anything else the welcome area.
Not very welcoming, is it?
No, it is not, brother. It is not.
No.
It is not. Now, this area here is the salvage room. Now, it's kind of weird how this design is here, but this is the room that I was talking about. Remember we saw that, like, the balcony from up above? This is a part of that, and down below there, the salvage goes down into an area underneath it. There's like a catwalk that runs above your head down there. This is a really, really big room. And again, whether or not this is going to be where salvage is not only processed, but also finalized, or whether it goes to the room that's underneath it. If you walk to the far end, when you come off the elevator, you'll see right there, you actually can go down, you can drop down to the next level. You kind of bleed a little bit when you do it because it's kind of a serious drop. But that area is connected. And I always get the impression that when everything is processed, it's going to roll through that and go down into the area below. But again, it's hard to say because we haven't seen how the ship is really supposed to operate on a mechanical level. But that area there you're seeing now is the area underneath. It's a smaller area than the processing area. So I'm really curious again as to how much SCU you're going to be able to pull with this ship. I have, again, no idea how much, just like with the Orion, we don't know how much you can haul when it comes to ore and mineral in that ship either, but they just give us cargo numbers.
And even when we get the Vulture, I don't think we're going to know about what happens in this ship yet. I feel like this aspect to this ship is its own thing. And I feel like it's going to be a long time till we know exactly what it looks like.
Is the cargo room comparable to the size of the salvage room?
You know what? It's coming up in 2 buttons, and we'll look at it. Yeah, I'll let you see it. Let's jump to engineering, and then we'll talk about the cargo room. Okay.
Yeah, can I just say
Sure.
one thing about the salvage room? You talk about the catwalk. It made me think, I'm too sexy for my ship.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to sing that.
On the catwalk. On the catwalk.
Catwalk. Do my little
Can we get the DMCA just on Fast Cart?
I don't think that will. Definitely not.
All right, let's look at engineering. This is something that I don't know if, what are you guys' feelings about this thing with engineering? And I'm talking about on ships of this size, ships like this ship, the Carrack, other larger ships in the game. Will there be people that you think that this is going to be their thing, that they're going to hang out down here?
Yeah.
They're not really caring about being upstairs,
I would definitely be on that. You remember the dude who worked in the was it engineering on Waterworld? You remember Waterworld?
Yeah.
Remember the dude? He was down there with all the oil.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right.
I would do that, man. Yeah. I would be down there by myself. Hopefully, I can wrangle somebody to come talk to me every 5 minutes.
Every now and then, your sync factor would just be so high.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody coming down there.
But some people, this room may be better than the captain's room. So.
Yeah. Several ships have what they call engineering panels. The Retaliator has one. This one has one.
The Hammerhead.
The Hammerhead has one. What are some things that you think engineers can be doing? I'm not talking about just in the sense of like, a component goes out and they go repair it. Is there anything else that you think an engineer could be interactively doing while the ship is in quantum or in the middle of a battle or in the middle of a salvage operation? Is there something that the engineer could be doing, shifting gauges, something like that?
I'm so curious as to what they'll do with, because I mean, already in the 890 jump, you can't fire from the captain's chair, right? Like that is just piloting. I'm wondering if they'll take away your ability to use the power triangle in bigger ships and give that to the engineer.
I think there's that. Plus, you remember how they talked about the nodes, like I don't want to call it the electrical system, but like the power system that goes through the ship. Like sometimes, depending on what the pilot and the captain are doing, you're gonna have to like divert power and move stuff and adjust the nodes. And I think it's gonna be.
You're talking about that podcast thing, like the not podcast, but the pod racing thing from Star Wars Episode 1, where like little Anakin's trying to like divert power from one.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like something like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Giving it all she can take.
or it could be the end of Terminator 2, where the T-1000 struck him with that pike, and the Terminator had to reroute power to a different part.
Yeah, I think
that's exactly the kind of thing an engineer should be doing.
Yeah. Maybe they can optimize, because you know how we have the weapons triangle now, right? So maybe when they do that, maybe we can find some, like say they're concentrating on shields and weapons. Maybe the engineer can find some power from something that they don't need to transfer some more power into the maybe the engines that they're not using, so that they have a little bit more turning ratio and all that good stuff.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Let me see who we got here. Ilmyro, thank you for the follow. Kaliko Matt, thank you for the follow. Son of Sons, thank you for the follow. And Dogmatic One, thank all of you all for following us. We appreciate that.
This is the room where miracles happen. This is where the miracle workers work.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To Abdi's point, if they were to move that power triangle down, to the engineer, I mean, think about what that brings in the sense of the level of communication. And being able to, communicate with your crew, saying, we need more of this, we need, the typical Scotty thing, right? Zaylin, thank you, Zaylin, for that gift sub. Thank you,
Zaylin Maru.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
That's so cool. Thank you,
Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. So let's talk about the impact of that, because they've talked about the fact that the captain of a ship, or will be able to assign roles, right? To be able to give certain responsibilities. We already have gotten that now with the missile torpedo thing. What happens when we move this power allocation down to engineering? Are players going to be like, oh wow, that is so cool, now my friends can do something? Or are they going to be like, oh heck, I can't control it now, and I'm the pilot of my ship, I don't like it?
This is the dream ender for all those people who want to fly big ship solo. All people want to fly solo. They can't do it anymore. They gotta have the friend, or they're gonna say, I have to melt this ship now because I don't have any friends, or maybe I can make some friends now to help me fly this ship. Now they're like, I can't control it by myself.
Until the Spectrum outcry, and then they'll make it an option so that you can you can have it all at one, but then you can also send it to different stations and stuff like that.
Wait, is that supposed to be a thing? I never heard that one. Are y'all just like kind of talking, or
no, we're just asking. Yeah, I'm just asking.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess what I'm saying, and to Fastcard's point, if I'm flying in a single person ship, it makes sense I can handle everything. If I'm flying in a big old freaking reclaimer, it actually doesn't make sense that I can control everything.
It really doesn't.
So
Well, I think
I like the idea that they take things away from you forcefully. It's like the 890 jump. Like you can't fire in that, and you shouldn't have to.
Mhm.
You should be focusing on like steering the big ship. You know, that should be all you need to do. I keep forgetting to look in my camera.
That's fine.
But like, no, it's like for real. Like you should just focus on your task, and if you have the people, you should send tasks to like different stations. You know, if you can.
Okay.
Or get NPCs, you know, if you have to get NPCs, that's what you're going to have to do. The cost of flying a big ship.
So you guys are in favor of needing an engineer to handle the power triangle? Is that what you're saying?
We're saying, well, we're just kind of going in that direction of saying if they did, what, because the question was, what if they did move it? You know, what if they took the power triangle and said that's dealing with power allocation in the ship? That's an engineering role. It's not the pilot's role. And I'm talking about on a multi-crew ship, mind you. I'm not talking about
That
on a
would be
single
kind
ship.
of. I need if I can't handle it as the pilot, I need somebody right next to me because you got to make decisions on the fly,
Right,
and
right.
To not have that, and you got to engineer, and the engineer's in the lunchroom eating a sandwich.
If you're in a place where it's got to happen, that's kind of like, isn't that part of the gameplay? Like, you know, you're talking to engineering, and you're like, engineering, we need power to shields or something like that, and they're at their station. If they're not at the station, that's kind of a part of the thing.
Well, you need to fire him or hire somebody else. Is that what you're saying?
Right? You gotta make sure you got the right people on board.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to how far we can push reality, right? Because I can say for a ship this big, it makes no sense to have power allocation with the pilot, but gameplay wise, is it impractical? You know, and I think maybe being able to assign it is great. I think what you said, Abdi, is going to be what happens. It'll be if I want to assign it, I can. If I don't want to assign it, I can still hold on to it. I'm gonna be honest with you though. When you're trying to pilot a big ship like a freaking reclaimer, I wouldn't even want to be trying to do a power allocation, to be honest with you, because there's too much. That ship, for those of you who have flown any of the larger ships, you said it earlier, Abdi, navigating them is no small task, and navigating them safely is no small task. Making sure you have a jump point set up in case you need to get out of some place. I mean, then I got to still freaking worry about grabbing that little triangle and moving it around. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
on
trying
a
to do
union
that.
sanction break.
Especially if you're on a small monitor and you don't have, it's like pixel hunting, because you got to find that menu button, you got to click on it right in the right spot.
Yeah.
That's
Colossal
tough.
saying VoIP. You know, that's what he's saying, right? Now, he may be saying VoIP in relation to communicating with your crew, which could be the possibility. And we talked about that earlier, using the in-house, system on your ship to talk to folks. But I don't know.
To your point, you talk about making this game reality. We were just talking about pooping in space. So I mean, reality.
I know. There you go. Right. All right. Let's go ahead and move down to Dig was asking about this, and that's the cargo area.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can I ask you? Are we also streaming to YouTube as well as Twitch?
No,
okay.
We're just doing. We don't. We put it out late. We were doing both, but we found out that that's not a good thing to do with Twitch. So
it's not.
No. So
really, I didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't realize it. We had a good friend of ours who gave us a red flag and said, "Hey, you may want to take a look at Twitch's rules about doing that." Yeah, and we found out, ooh, not a good thing to do. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Somebody was asking me something about how to tip, and I know how to do it on YouTube. I don't know how.
We got a thing down below on Twitch.
Yeah. There's ways to donate on the page there. If you look on there's several ways. Everything from just donating general to Patreon to whatever. So if you'd like to give, we appreciate that. But if not, no stress. Let's talk about this cargo area. Dig, you were asking about it earlier. It's kind of dimly lit, but you can kind of see it does run the same length as the processing area. It's just not as high. But this is the cargo deck area.
Okay. The reason I asked that is because I was figuring that you could probably get an idea of what you got salvage wise if they were the same size.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it is. It does run the same length of the processing deck, just not as high. Now, mind you, it doesn't. I don't know if it's saying that you can't put what you salvage down there too, right? Because I mean, the cargo area is for cargo, but you might just decide to say, I'm using both my cargo deck as well as that deck under the processing deck to put all my salvage. I don't know. again, we don't know how
Like, yeah,
the ship
like
completely functions.
it's really gonna like be like a penalty for like say I put my salvage in my cargo in my salvage. I mean, is it really gonna be like a penalty for
Right.
doing
No,
that kind
not
of
at
Maybe
all.
the salvage goes to the cargo deck after it's processed.
It could. Yep, it could.
Correct.
It could. But
I
again,
wonder if this is a thing that the captain would have to like manage or something, or if it's an engineering or its own station. Is it like the salvage manager or something, like the foreman? I don't know.
If there's something like that, it could be like on the Starfarer. There is a cargo manifest station up there right behind
yeah.
the cockpit. Maybe
Right.
there's something that allows you to, you know, like you said, designate where things are going to go in the ship. I mean, they've talked about this manual moving stuff around. I'm sure there's going to be some hand wavium too when it comes to salvage because, you know, but we've got this new big tractor beam that's coming out. You know, the one that's handheld that looks like a rifle. That's coming. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that they could implement into how you move things around. My biggest question is, how do you offload all the tonnage of stuff off the ship when it's all said and done?
Yeah.
And maybe that elevator will come into play for that later on. I don't know.
That's a lot of
We'll see.
stuff, though.
That brings up a
elevator?
question for me though. Like, okay, so this ship is what, from 2016, 17? I don't know
Something
when
like
it was
that.
released, but there will obviously be a refactor of some sort or gold pass on this. When they do that gold pass, I feel like you're going to see some things change. I wonder if people are going to ask for like a ramp, or if they're going to make the cargo elevator bigger. Or if they're going to, you know, add a captain's chair or something, so that there's someone there that can that doesn't have to be the pilot. If they're gonna, you know, add a station for managing all the salvage that happens, or I don't know. There's just, I can see potential for this ship to change in the future.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just looked it up, and the concept sale for the Aegis Reclaimer was September 26, 2014.
That was the concept sale, but when did the ship come out? But when did the ship come
When did the
out?
ship come out?
Yeah, that's the question, is when did the ship come out? Because like I said, this was one of the early concepted ships. By the way, we did get that donation. I'm not sure. Unfortunately, it didn't pop up on my screen as to who gave it. Maybe Dig, maybe you know who it was, but thank you for the donation. We appreciate that.
That's really sweet.
Thank you for that. Okay, cargo area. Let's move to Dig's favorite space that they call the rec area, the recreation room. And Dig, you said this was reminiscent of something to you, this particular room.
It reminds me of a spring morning, one day with this fly young girl. No, it's come on, man. You can't look at that and not see aliens. Like, the dude should be sprawled out. They should have had an NPC sprawled out on the table with an alien coming through his stomach, man. And go ahead.
I'm gonna do my favorite joke. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my...
Baseballs. Yeah, absolutely. They knew what they was doing. That's what they was going for. You can't look at it any other way. But as you pulling up that picture, that's what I've been wondering about. Like the place where the microwave and all that stuff is. I'm assuming that they're gonna make it functional. Y'all think they're gonna make that functional where you can pull out ketchup packets and all that?
Yeah, the kitchen is supposed to become functional in some form. Absolutely. Let's take a quick look at a video real quick, because Dig kind of led us into this. So you guys check this out. This is actually a video that was put out on ATV, and I think it definitely supports what Dig Dad has been telling us. Let's check it out. Okay.
Definitely nothing creepy about that.
No, there's
Yeah,
a
that was my
nice
first thought, too.
warm, welcoming, inviting video for flying the Reclaimer. I don't know what you're talking about.
Definitely
Dave.
where I'm going to have my daughter's first birthday party for sure.
Right.
No, that's like one of those movies where you watch it and you want to scream at the screens and people are doing the wrong thing. Don't you go through that door? I told you not to go through that door.
Hey, Griff, by the way, that was a SFC Demon that sent that.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know, Dick.
Oh, it became flight ready March 31st, 2018, 3.1.
2018. Okay. All right. So it's almost 4 years. That's a decent amount of time to wait for the concept. Okay. Let's hop off to this next area. Now, these weren't listed, but they are areas of the ship that we kind of alluded to and talked about a little bit. And that's the drone room. There is a dedicated drone room on this ship. When you come out of the cockpit area, you get on the elevator, you go up to the tech level. As soon as you come off the elevator there's a door in front of you and it leads to this room. And as we know, this is like, I think probably the first ship that actually had an area for drones that was put out, if I'm remembering correctly. But we've never seen drones. We haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, they're in the hangars.
Yeah, they're in the hangars. But we know that they're coming. So let's talk about that a little bit. There are 2 operator seats here, and this is the thing that I'm curious about because I know Fastcart mentioned earlier about if the drones were in those front cockpit seats, and that's the only reason why I think that maybe not, because they're operated remotely. They may do it from this room instead. But there's 2 seats here. What are some things you guys think the drones will be doing for a ship like the Reclaimer? Anybody got any ideas?
I think they'll be identifying all the different stuff that's available for salvaging. So, because, some of it's just going to be ship hold type stuff, but there's also going to be like gases like oxygen. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if water is going to be a thing, but, anything that they can identify that's available for salvage, I think that's what the drone's job is to do.
Okay. Any other thoughts about drones? Let me ask you this. Do you guys think the drones could be, even though they could be using them for salvage, like you said, identify them, they got a camera on them, they can go in and see what needs to be gotten. Do you think that like the mechanic that they're going to put in ships like the Vulcan, where you have drones that can do repair, do you think that maybe you could fit your ship out with even maybe having repair drones, so in case you need to do some type of repair to your ship while you're out there in the field? Or do you think the drones will be really specific to just salvage? What do you all think?
I think you should be able to swap out drones, like put them in a cargo bay and just swap them out as you need. But you'll probably have the salvage drone in there by default most of the time.
Even in the Vulcan, you'll have to swap them because you have refueling or repairing. Mm-hmm. A repair drone can't refuel, and a refuel drone can't repair. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's already swapping in the drone gameplay, like where you have to choose which one you want to choose. I'm curious to see if they'll allow you to select, anything, like any type of drone or something like that. Yeah. It would be cool.
Yeah,
I would be down for that. I think that'd be awesome.
It seems the design for all of these drone stations where the drones are look almost identical. This one looks just like the one that's on the Carrack. And so I'm hoping that there is like a universal aspect to them, and you could it's a matter of what drone you want, not that this drone won't work because the launching system is different on this ship. It seems like they are trying to make them universal, and it would
I
be
would
kind of
think
cool.
that the Aegis one would be different from an Enzo one, but that's just me.
But they don't make the drones. That's just it. If I forget who makes the drones. The stations you mean? That's true. That's true, because they are different ships, but if you look at how they're made, they look similar.
SpaceX makes them.
Yeah, SpaceX makes them. Yeah. Now, so, again, we'll have to see. I hope that they do allow that level of modularity, though, where you can decide what type of drones you want to have on your ship. And maybe there are some drones that, like, for example, you can't use a salvage drone with the Vulcan just because the panel and the interface doesn't allow you to do salvaging with it. You know what I mean? But maybe on this one, you could use a repair drone with it, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it got something to do with the blades, but I'm kind of hoping that they don't make it where the drones can repair, because then they took your jobs. I want to get out there and do it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe they will be dedicated, that it'll just be, you know, drones that have something to do with salvaging in some form. Because you could have probe drones, and all their job is to do is just go around and, you know, go through go through a wreckage area and look for stuff. Then you could have some that maybe do some type of remote cutting or magnetic that draw things out. I mean, it's a whole bunch of things that can create the drones for salvaging for. Okay, very cool. All right, we got one last area to look at, and then we've got another video. Actually, we got two videos to look at. I forgot to queue up the other one, so you guys are going to have to bear with me when I queue that one up. But let's take a look at the defenses for this thing, because earlier in the show, I told you guys that taking out a reclaimer is no small task. We know that we have remote turret seats, but then there's also a defense turret. I think it's got a size 5 in it, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got the drones out there as well. You know, don't know what the deal is with the drones, their defensive capability. But I don't know. Let me ask this question to the panel. Do you guys think that this will be a ship that people will attack? Or will it be a ship that people will see it and say, they're out there doing their thing, you know? Let's keep going.
Personally, I wouldn't see a reason why someone would attack, because I mean, I don't know how much profitability of salvaging is going to be. If you know someone's coming home with a full haul, sure, but I mean, that ship it looked too tough. It had defenses, and it looked too menacing. I'm gonna leave it alone. That's just me, though.
I mean, after that PvP episode you had, I could totally see Mongrel Scrod going for something like this. Like I could see them like one, because it's big enough that you would want to do an infiltrate, you know, like that there's places for you, like multiple access
to board,
it's for you to breach.
Right.
There's a reason. There's like cargo that you could have, even if you don't, even if you haven't salvaged anything yet, you could get, you know, the materials or the things that that they have already brought with them to help them salvage. So maybe there's already stuff for them to take. So yeah, this definitely seems like a ship that you wouldn't just like offhandedly attack. Like, I'm in my Gladius, I'm gonna go, you know, attack a reclaimer. No, this seems like a coordinated mongrel squad type org event where you would go out looking for ships of this sort.
Yeah.
You know what they could do? They could strip the reclaimer apart, take out the components of it, and resell it. That'd be profitable.
That would be profitable. There's an interesting thing. CIG has told us that there are some ships that they've designed with the intention of being able to allow for PvP gameplay inside of them. The Starfarer is one of them. The Retaliator is being widened out a little bit so that there can be NPC movement with those corridors, and then ships like this where you could definitely see someone trying to, as you mentioned, breach into a ship like this.
Sure.
How easy do you think breaching ships like this will be? Because I think that the people who have the advantage are not the people from the outside, it's the people from the inside. You know. No,
the advantage is that it's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the advantage, is like this would give a pirate something like super fun to do. Yeah. Where, you know, you're going to have to be coordinated, you're going to have to bring the right tools. You know, this seems like this would be perfect for a pirate gameplay loop. Because like, you know, just like someone who's mining has to bring the right supplies when they go out to do the job. To take this thing down, you'd have to have the right supplies as a pirate as well.
Okay. All right, cool.
Does it have a gun? Does it have a gun rack? There's
you
no
know
gun
what?
racks, right?
I don't think I've seen gun racks on this ship now that you say that.
Another thing that I feel like they'll want to add to.
I don't think that it does.
2018. Did it
So
have
it's
gun racks back then?
BYOG is bring your own guns.
BYOG.
And if somebody breaches that ship, which I think it'd be hard to do, because you got the one elevator in the back, you got the feet elevators, and then other than that, how you gonna get in there?
Well, you got the docking collar. You got docking collar, 2 docking collars upper top. If they're going to come in, if that's the way they're going to come in, that's the way they got to come in. It's got to be either the one or the left or the right. And the problem is it's a narrow corridor. So even if you breach it, the guys inside have got the advantage.
Yeah, you're going to be bottlenecked like a mug, man.
Exactly. It's not easy
unless there's a way to bust down that cargo elevator.
Well, no, I'm sorry. There's also a hatch at the top of the ship by the cafeteria behind in the cafeteria area, there's a hatch that you can come in from the top. But
A whole
even
bunch of places
that,
you can get in there.
So if you got five, six people
There's only
on
three
board,
people. There's
you
only
probably
three
be
people to
good.
breach. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's only three people ways you can breach that ship, because you're not gonna come up through the cargo ramp, and you're not gonna come up through the one that leads to the pilot's deck. You can't come in those two ways, but you can come in through those two docking ports and the docking port on the top of the ship.
Are you sure you wouldn't be able to like break down the cargo elevator, like bust it, or I don't know, something? No.
And how would it go down?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, you can't. It's a huge door. I mean, maybe there's some freaky way that they'll let you do it, but that's a big door.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we go on it later, dude, when you see how big this, when you get on this thing and see how big it is, man, it's gonna be like, man, that's.
Oh yeah,
cracking this nugget ain't gonna be no joke. It's pretty serious.
That was
I
my
forgot
thought,
you ain't been on it, Abdi. Yeah, wait till you get on that jump.
That's my thought. The cracking this will be tough, but like people saying, like Abdi and people in chat saying, people will attack anything. So
they can attack it all they want. I'm just saying, I don't know. I might sit there with a beer and watch you see. Let's see if you can get in. Personally, I want to see you get in it, because it's a monster. But we'll see. You know, like you said, there will be people.
You did a whole episode with Mongrel Squad. You seen what they can do?
No, they ain't did this. They ain't did this shit, brother. Trust me. They'll
get there. They'll get there, man. By the time that this actually, here's the thing.
You know what they're going to say now?
Challenge
They're going
accepted.
to say challenge accepted.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I agree with you 100%, Abdi. There are going to be people who are going to try, and no question about it. I still say the advantage is on the people inside the ship because of the design. You gotta, dude. They can throw a grenade down that hallway. I mean, you're gonna have some real problems trying to get into. Wait till you go on the ship. Trust me, it is.
I'm just saying, if they made a whole mission to breach the 890 jump, I don't see why this wouldn't be its own mission in and of itself.
Yeah. They would have to have so many people trying to board that ship to where it wouldn't be worth it to try and pay all those people.
Yeah, you'd have to have a lot of folks, man. I'm telling you, 890's entrance.
Some people just want to watch the world burn. I'm not one of these people. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm one of these people. I'm just not putting it past
and some people want to get their imprint and be at the hospital too. I can tell you that, because I tell you, coming in here ain't gonna be no joke.
They're like cheapest.
Okay, let's look at this last. Actually, that was the last. I got two videos for you guys to look at. This goes to what Fastcart talked about, because he said, is there a place for the Reclaimer with Squadron 42? And believe it or not, it's so easy to forget everything that we've seen over the years. CIG did show us the Reclaimer in Squadron 42. So let's take a look.
Captain, go ahead.
Pursuant of the UEE's salvage rights laws, I am hereby informing you that we found this wreck in good faith. Survivors were searched for and none found. All bodies recovered will be properly...
That's great, Captain. But all we need to know is if you picked up any signs of a second starfarer in the debris.
Okay, but I just want to make it 100% clear that this is legitimate salvage. I know what it means when officials come around. All of a sudden, clearing a wreck becomes stealing evidence and interfering with an official investigation.
They are interfering. This is shit.
We're just looking for help.
Of course. There is actually a long tradition of salvagers.
Listen, do you know anything about a second starfarer or not?
Hold on, let me check. We haven't seen anything in our sweeps, and all the black boxes were fried when we got here. We weren't able to extract any data.
Yeah, it was a long shot anyway.
Then are we all done here? We got a lot left to collect, and it's not really smart for us to linger this close to the boil.
We're good.
Great. You're welcome, by the way.
Was that old man? aka Luke Skywalker.
Yes, that was old man, believe it or not. Yeah. That was in the clip they showed us from the Vertical Slice a few years ago. And I thought it was really interesting to see. Well, someone mentioned, I think Raymar mentioned in the chat, that the drones were flying around. You got to see the lasers on the ships, the tractor beam on the reclaimer. You kind of saw this thing in operation. I thought it was interesting that they talked about that there were rules for doing reclamation, for doing salvage. Do you think that Star Citizen will make, like, there are rules now in the jurisdictions, right? You go in certain jurisdictions, they'll tell you, you can't be carrying Widow, you can't do this, this is a misdemeanor. Do you think that they will implement things like that for salvage? Any guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like just as there'll be tech that the UEE won't want falling into particular people's hands, stuff that's like I don't know, that is experimental tech, things like that. Definitely be like places, I feel like, where like there's that one AI world or something like that, not AI world, but the world that's like completely built.
Synth world.
Yeah, that
Synth world. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like places like that, I have no doubt you will not be able to salvage anything around that area, because like if something goes down, UE probably wants that stuff back.
Jade said what I was going to say. Legitimate salvage. But no, yeah, I think you're right, man. Because I think they're not going to want you to salvage like trashed up UEE naval ships. So it's definitely got to be some cutoff of what you can salvage.
And
not
the
what you
gameplay
can salvage, what you're not supposed to salvage.
and the gameplay will be people will just ignore those rules and go ahead and try to salvage anyway and try to get away with it.
Exactly.
For sure. They're gonna go for those I guess the Tauruses that have the shielded hulls, so you can like, you know, sell it to those people, and those people will sell it off, and you know, there's places where people will try and make a buck off that stuff.
I wonder, can you salvage food? Like, yo, man, they got some Tibbs up in here, man. I'm
It's possible, I guess. That's
possible. Where Dig that'll be.
Yeah,
he'll be at like the crashed Raising Cane's ship or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a Habitation ship, like get some Tibbs and Injetta. Oh man.
Hey man, that's my food, man.
Oh no, Habitation.
So okay, well, if they implement those type of rules, because like they're like, for example, for the Genesis Starliner, you have to be licensed and credentialed and some other stuff to be able to fly the Starliner. Some people don't know that, but there is some lore behind flying that ship. If you're out doing salvage, will you have to, like, depending on what system you're in, do you think that they'll implement certain rules that say that, you know, if you're caught salvaging ships, or do you think that they'll just leave it, you can just fly wherever you want to, do whatever you want to do? Or maybe in UEE space, you can't salvage nothing, you can only do it out in the outer rim. What do you all think that they'll do?
I mean, if they implement salvaging license, they have to implement license for everything: fighting, mining, exploration.
Kind of already do with mining, like not really supported with in-game stuff, but like, you know how you can, there are missions where there was a legitimate claim to this mining, you know, and some pirates came by and started mining it instead, and now you have to go out and kill those pirates. That's like a mission type already in Star Citizen. So I'm curious.
They could send a mission after you for not having the proper license to salvage or whatever you're salvaging.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's like you find a wreckage and like you stake a claim somehow. Like you have a certain amount of like claims that you can stake, and you find a big thing out there and you just, you know, I don't know, attach it to the hull of it or something like that, and it casts a beacon that says this is the property of, you know, Fast Cart LLC or something like that.
So let me ask this question. What are you gonna say?
Jade has a good point. Simple solution: do it outside UE space. That'll solve everything. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Now this leads to the next question I'm going to ask you. We already know that there's going to be some, you know, some wrecks and stuff out there, right? That they're going to put out there in the game. Gusada, thank you. Googsada, thank you for the follow. Also, Pig suggests GIDC, thank you for your follow as well. Here's my question. how will players be protected in some form from salvage when their ship has been disabled? When their ship has been disabled, is there some type of way that they have a certain amount of time that they don't have to worry about their ship being salvaged? Maybe it's a 30-minute window, and after 30 minutes, your ship is fair game. Or will their ships be vulnerable from the very beginning? As soon as your ship becomes disabled, and maybe you had to eject, and you're on your way back to go do something, there's a salvage ship right there chewing on your ship already.
I think it's because like how you was talking about Eve, how you just sit on the outskirts and just wait for the battle to finish and you just go in. I think it will break up the gameplay if there was like a 30-minute or whatever time, even if it's 5 minutes delay between you and getting that salvage. When I see it right there, why can't I just go get it? I think the only way to protect yourself from that is to have somebody with you or send somebody out to that space. If you could like give them some coordinates and say like, look, yo, man, my ship is beat up. Go protect it. I'll pay you 2 ham hocks and a pork chop if you go watch that from me.
Okay.
I take that deal.
If you're, let me ask you a question. let me ask you a question.
Pig's feet.
Yeah, Dig. Let me ask you a question. You're in your what's your fighter that you like flying? What's the fighter that you like flying?
What's the E-Warfare Vanguard?
Oh, the Vanguard. Okay, so you're in your Vanguard, right? And you get into some type of battle where you're disabled. You've called your folks and said, "Hey, I need to be picked up. I need a crucible. I need a tow. Whatever it is, right?" And your folks are on their way. As soon as you hang up, the shadow comes over you. And it's a reclaimer. And these big beams come on, right? What are you doing at this point now?
I think if you don't got money to bring in a fleet or an organization to be like, yo, man, save my ship, I think you SOL, man. Because what are you going to do? It's going to take a long time.
Would you negotiate with the salvagers?
Oh, yeah, I guess you could, huh?
Good try.
Because I think at that point, salvagers are going to be able to say, okay, that's a Vanguard that's worth this amount of money to me. So you got to come close to that. Be like, look, man, I'll make it worth your while without you doing the work. I'll give you 75% of what you would get. You don't have to do nothing.
Okay. So you'd be willing to do that.
If my org wasn't available, like because I played late at night.
I'm saying your folks are coming, but the salvager got there first. Is all I'm saying. The reclaimer got there before they did.
If I felt like they couldn't get there in time,
that's when you go on your mobiGlass and you step up the price and be like, "Yo, salvager's here, come quick."
Yeah, I think you got to weigh the consequences, man. Or you got to weigh the consequences. Is it going to be worth me to claim my ship and redo all the my loadout, or if there's some on there that's valuable enough that I need to just pay them? And if I pay them, they might be a little suspicious, like, all right, we'll back off. Give me the money. And then they go ahead anyway. Because he must got something important on there.
Maybe not, right? Because you said a reality. The reality is it worth it? Right? Is the salvager, is it worth it? And listen, if I decide to tear up your ship, while I'm tearing your ship up, your boys might show up. Right?
True.
And I got a whole nother monkey on my back. And then maybe it's not worth doing it at that point. I mean, listen, what do you think? That's to give you the same scenario. Favorite fighter, you sitting out there, you waiting on your crew, and then this reclaimer pops up.
You either got Jawas or you got the Nostromo coming out there. Like it's gonna be like either personal enterprising people who are out there to make a buck and they don't care how, like maybe pirate salvagers is what you might want to call them. I don't know. But you could have that. You could have, corporate salvagers or whatever, where it's like, they're only looking for official claims to stake. But I think depending on where you are, you're going to encounter people who are, one way or the other. So, you're doing salvaging in UEE space or something like that. It's a safe place. You're going to come across, people who are doing claims. And if someone goes against that claim, someone's gonna ring up on the mobiGlass and call in some UEE support or something. But if you're outside of that, you're fair game.
I got to think about
bring your own help.
I got to think about if you did that right in front of Port All-Star, like today, not like in the future, it is not a threat. The turrets on the space stations are not a threat. So I would probably be, if I was one of those guys, I would just go for it anyway. Rules be damned.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you talk about like if you leave your ship and it becomes a legitimate claim, and so it's okay for someone to salvage it. What happens?
Wait. What's a legitimate claim? Because that's the question that I don't know if we know what a legitimate claim even is. If you're sitting in that ship, Fast Cart, is it a legitimate claim while you're sitting in it?
No, not when I'm sitting in it. No.
Okay.
But if you exit it, if you EVA out to do something and you're not back in time, let's say it becomes.
But let's say you EVA'd out to go fix it. Maybe the panel. Maybe you're trying to fix your hyperdrive and the panel's outside of your ship, and this reclaimer pulls up.
My thing is, you got to be in the cockpit or somewhere inside the ship, not outside.
You don't want to be.
Could it be something as simple? Could it be something as simple as him being insured? Like he has ship insurance.
That was the question I was going to get.
Sorry.
My question is, if the ship gets salvaged, should you lose your insurance claim on the ship?
Or is it a matter of what type of insurance do you have? Maybe insurances are at different levels, right?
Oh, tiers, yeah.
Because maybe the question becomes, did I take out insurance? Did I take out, like when we get car insurance, right? You got like collision, you got like when your car is totally destroyed. I mean, did I take out insurance because my ship, it took some damage. I thought it was going to get repaired. And next thing you know, somebody came along and crunched it up into a box. Right. I mean, I know guys, folks, I know we're theory crafting a little bit where we're just trying to see what are some things here with salvage that would be consideration, because it's one thing to go out and salvage a ship that CIG has placed out in space, some derelict. It's another thing when it's a player ship, and what rights does that player have when you roll up on them? Like in this particular case, in that video we saw in Squadron 42, she gave this whole thing about UEE rules and blah, 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 blah. And we know the authorities. We want to make sure y'all understand that this is a legitimate claim. And I'm asking, is that going to be something that will have to be implemented with players as well? Will there be what we call a legitimate claim? Or will there be some situations where it's not legit? You did it and, you got a violation coming on you because, there was some rule that you broke by smashing. Maybe the rule was Fast Cart was in that ship when you started crunching on it. Maybe that's what the rule is. Maybe it's abandoned, that the pilot is not within proximity of the ship. Then it could be considered legit. But if Fast Cart left,
if that ship doesn't have insurance on it, you won't be caught until you bring it in to sell it at a place, but you can sell it at a place where maybe they don't care if it has insurance.
On it or not.
Well, if it's in pieces, they don't care about that either because it's in pieces.
What's the better way to do it? Bring the ship in intact or smash it up? Which one is the better way to go with it?
I think JJ in the chat had a good point that maybe it should be needs to be reasonably considered to be abandoned by a regular person, which that could be a thing. Like some people could like try and wait it out till the oxygen run out, and then that's a wrap.
Abandoned might be the deal. It might be that the rule is if the person is with the ship, within proximity of the ship, it's not legitimate. But if they have left the ship out there, and that also makes the clock run, right? Because if for some reason you have to get back, maybe you got injured, now you've got the clock running that says, I got to get somebody out there, pay somebody with an SRV to go out there and get my ship and tow it in for me, right? Or something to that effect.
Or it says it's on a ship and it says exactly where that ship is, like almost like a towing company or something like that.
Yeah.
So then you have to go find the other disclaimer.
What's that?
To answer the other question, if you're in UEE space, it's probably better to sell it in pieces. If you're outside UEE space, just take the whole ship.
You got erase the serial numbers.
All right, CC Creator said swing by their merchantmen and they'll buy all the parts from you when you get done.
Yeah, mine too.
There you go.
You're gonna sell me
competing
my
with
own
you,
ship
man.
in parts?
Yeah, sell your own ship back. That's pretty rough. Yeah, really. Okay. Well, listen, we got one more video, and like I said, I've got it on the docket, guys, but I didn't drop it into my my streaming software. So you guys bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to put this in, and hopefully screen's going to go black for just a second. This is a video that was done by Wailander, and there's a constant theme that's come up throughout the show, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just there for the entertainment purposes, and then we're going to wrap up the show. So you guys stand by and enjoy this video.
see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are a song of faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. To myself, what a wonderful world.
Man,
What happened there?
You all right?
dude,
You okay?
that was dope. I mean, first of all, I was wondering how they cleared that song, but oh my god, I don't want this to turn into a horror game. I know a lot of people would definitely be into that,
I'll be into that.
but that looks bananas, man. It would be a little exciting at the same time. You'd be like looking over your shoulder the whole time you're in your ship.
Yeah. Well,
There's got to be
my
one planet out there in this game where if you land on it, something can go up into like your little retracting landing gear, and now you got an infestation on your ship, and you got to worry about that. There's got to be one planet where that could happen. Please.
My only response to that video is, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime girl. Send me a kiss for a while. Hello, my kiss. My heart's on fire.
oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's it, gang.
We love you, Fast Card.
Yeah. That's it, gang. Yeah, Jet Heller says tribbles. We could bring tribbles on board. Maybe they'll be
Oh my god.
killer tribbles. The killer tribbles.
Killer triple.
Enemy of the
Killer
Klingon
tribbles.
Empire.
Yeah. Killer tribbles.
No, the Van Duel Empire.
The Vandal Empire. Really.
That's right. We should
Well-
just drop a bomb of triples on them.
Well, we covered a lot tonight. We got a chance to talk about the Reclaimer, talk about Salvage, and shared some of our insights and also a little bit of theory crafting about the subject. For those of you who've never been on a Reclaimer, I urge you to find someone that you know who has one and go on one. I'm telling you, it's mind-blowing to walk around one. It's mind-blowing to go inside one. And if you have a chance to fly one, trust me, it's a feat unto itself. So
Yeah, don't do it from a planet.
yeah. Yeah, don't try to take off from what is that? Orion? No, it's not Horizon. What's like a worst place? What's the worst place to take off with a
Lorville?
Lorville's the
That's what everyone
worst.
said,
Is that the
Lorville.
worst? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're beasts. They're beasts. But definitely check them out when you get time.
Or if you do take off from them, make sure you have 2 hours to spend because that's how long it take off to get
Yeah,
out.
it takes a while.
Your gameplay for the night is waiting.
It definitely
Yeah, just go
takes
make a
while.
sandwich, come back, see if it's out of the atmosphere yet.
It takes a while.
It's enough time to watch the first Alien movie to get to, Port Tressler or something.
Yep. All right. Well, listen, we want to share some information with you guys. Most of you all know that we, over the last few months, every other month, have been hosting and co-hosting Bar Citizens, and you all know that CitizenCon is just a couple weeks away, 2-3 weeks away. So Fastcart's going to give you guys some information about that, and I'm going to turn it over to him, and he can talk about it.
One, yes, we're going to have a digital CitizenCon just before a digital Bar Citizen just before CitizenCon. So the date is October 8th, my birthday, matter of fact, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC, and we're going to have a follow-up talk about what we just seen. The first one will be hype. The second will be about the death. On Saturday, October 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. So the first one, October 8th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC. That's before CitizenCon. So if you want to sign up, we have a link. I'm going to put it in quick chat. So sign up, and we hope to see you there. And hope it should be fun.
Is the Bar Citizen open bar?
It is an open bar. Yeah, it's an open bar.
All right.
Yeah.
Your own bar.
You bring BYOB. Yeah. Listen.
Your own bar, yeah.
Yeah. Listen,
Bring your open
Fastcard
bar.
just put that link in. You guys sign up for it. There's an RSVP for that. Those of you who've attended before, we've had a great time. We've had awesome participation from the folks from CIG. We've had,
They show up. They really do show up.
Yeah, we've had Xylo there. We've had Disco there. We've had Jake there. And we spoke with them ahead of time about this idea of doing the Bar Citizen before the CitizenCon, because normally, as most of you know who've gone to CitizenCon, usually there is a physical Bar Citizen on Friday night. So we're kind of carrying on that tradition. We're partnering with the folks from Yacht Club, with Paul Shelley, and we're also trying to, I think I sent something to the folks at Relay too, but we're going to be doing that on, as Fastcart mentioned, Hype, which is the day before, that Friday, and then Depth, which is the following week. You can sign up for either one or both of them. There will be some giveaways. CIG has already kind of told us that they're going to give us some stuff to give away. And we always have a great time when we do this. So if you guys are hearing the first announcement about it, by the way. So if you want to sign up, you're the first ones to hear about it, because it's going to go out on Twitter tonight or for tomorrow morning. And we're going to announce it to the entire Star Citizen community. So we want to encourage you guys to, if you want to come out and hang out with us that Friday, to do that. Gogsta, can't pronounce that. I'm so sorry for slaughtering your name. Thank you for the follow. And Pio Pipvinsef, thank you for the follow as well. Let's see what else we got going on. This Thursday, we've got Soul Talk coming up. Fastcart usually is the host of that, and some of the team from Soul Citizen sit in on that. And we talk about what's going on in Star Citizen for the week. As you guys know, Evocati have just been starting to get their hands on 3.15, so I'm sure we'll have some conversation about that and everything else Star Citizen. And then next Sunday, we're going to be doing a show. It's entitled A Slice of CitizenCon. That's the Saturday before CitizenCon, or the Sunday, I'm sorry, before CitizenCon. Space Tomato is going to be our guest on that week, and we're going to be talking about, stuff that has to do with what we think is going to be happening at CitizenCon. Any little tidbits of information that we might have, and maybe a little bit of speculation as well. So that'll be on next week. And I think that's about it. Before we do our raid, let me once again thank everybody who's here today, all of our team members. Abdi, tell people where people can find you other than here.
Yeah, you can find me at AbdiYohan on all the social medias. So Twitter, I'm very active on there for some reason. And Twitch, I stream every Wednesday at around 8:30 p.m. I just built a new computer, and I'm still trying to figure out some OCing stuff at the moment. So you'll probably not see me do Star Citizen for the next couple weeks, but you'll see me do some illustration stuff. And I usually keep it pretty sci-fi themed. So
Nice.
Yeah, catch me there.
Awesome. And the man, Dig, where can people find you, bro?
youtube.com/digthat32. Make sure you tune in. I'll be giving away ships like Nino Brown, be giving away turkeys. In fact, we gave away one today. That's why, well, yeah, I didn't know that. I was almost late to start to this stream because we gave away a Constellation Taurus. So, come check your boy out, digthat32.
Mm-hmm. And FC, what about you?
Find me on Twitter on twitter.com/fast_cart. Yeah, just generally on Twitter now and here. But he said other than here.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys once again for hanging out with us on a Sunday and sharing your time with us. All of those who followed today, thank you for the follows. Those of you who subscribed, those who donated, we really, really, really appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you guys, if not on Thursday, at Soul Talk, hopefully next Sunday when we do a slice of CitizenCon. And tonight we are going to set up a raid. We're raiding McGowan, if that's the correct name. McGlown. I'm sorry, McGlown.
Wow.
So you all give some shout outs to McGlown. If you like what you see, follow. And till then, we'll see you guys next time. As always, peace, love, and soul. You guys take care of yourselves out there. We'll see you soon.